We're back to the Vanzan of it all. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. You may be asking yourself, who is that? Let's just pretend this is Stephanie Jones. Stephanie Jones is the co-conspirator alongside Subpoena Serena. I have not been served my subpoena, still just keeping you informed. Not that I would from earlier today, but you never know. They haven't even attempted. It's not like I'm running away from a process server. Nothing. Stephanie Jones, this may or may not be what she looks like, owns JonesWorks. That is Justin Baldoni's former PR agency before he fired her for breach of contract. Stephanie Jones is also the person who obtained Jen Abel, Baldoni's current publicist who used to work for her. Having a picture is helpful. Jen Abel told Stephanie Jones that she was going to go leave to start her own company. Well, Stephanie Jones did not like that and ended up firing Jen Abel, but not before she took Jen Abel's phone and laptop and then possession of all her communications, including very personal and health-related information that had nothing to do with her job. And remember, that very same day that she fired Jen Abel, according to the Baldoni Wayfarer complaint, the flirty and yummy actress's publicist was given some information already. Because Leslie Sloan, the rep, called up Baldoni's crisis communications expert, Melissa Nathan, saying that she's gonna get sued. Now, it's unclear how much information Stephanie Jones gave Blake Lives Matter, but she needed to be able to legally be in possession of Jen Abel's communications. So, her company, Vanzan, filed that sham anonymous lawsuit that did not alert Jen Abel or Justin Baldoni or any of the parties, the lawsuit that was filed for breach of contract. A company, Vanzan, that had no contract with Jen Abel or Wayfarer or Justin Baldoni. Now, it is possible in some way, I don't even know, I'm just trying to think of the legality of it all. It's possible they had a contract with JonesWorks? Vanzan did? I don't know why they would, especially because just within the last month, Blake Lively, in legal paperwork filed with the court, called her company, JonesWorks, a co-conspirator of Justin Baldoni's. Well, they kissed and made up last week because they jointly filed paperwork with the judge, even though there are separate lawsuits going on here. Stephanie Jones and JonesWorks is not named in Ku Klux Khalisi's lawsuit against Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties. And then there is the separate Abel versus Jones lawsuit, which is where we're going to go to today. Why would she not include her in the lawsuit? Because they're friends. Because they're besties. Because they're co-conspirators. So, in Abel versus Jones, she is involved. Baldoni's publicist filed a motion with the judge, the same judge, Judge Lyman, to compel Blackface Blake to hand over Vanzan information. Very important Vanzan information. And the judge just ruled. And I'm doing this in real time. You'll have seen the headline already, but I have no idea what the ruling is, and I'm a little nervous, so let's do this. Defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Jennifer Abel moves pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 45 and Rules 1C and 4C of the court's individual practices for an order compelling the production of documents from non-party Vanzan in response to requests 1, 4, and 9 through 11 of a document subpoena served by Abel on April 21st, 2025. Specifically, Abel moves to compel production of the following. 1, a copy of the Vanzan subpoena, the one that let her get all of her communications. Delulu get all of Jen Abel's communications. She wants that Vanzan subpoena served on plaintiff and counterclaim defendant Stephanie Jones in the Vanzan action. The Vanzan subpoena, it will be referred to going forward in this ruling. Also, 2, the documents produced by Jones in response to the Vanzan subpoena. 3, communications between Vanzan and Jones and or their respective counsel about the Vanzan action. 4, documents sufficient to show Vanzan's organizational structure. And 5, documents sufficient to identify Vanzan's shareholders. Vanzan has agreed to produce documents responsive to requests 1, 4, 10, and 11. The motion is denied as moot to those requests because they're voluntarily handing it over. However, they're not voluntarily handing over request number 9. Request 9 calls for communications between Vanzan and or its counsel and Jones Works and or their counsel concerning the Vanzan lawsuit. The sham lawsuit. The judge continues, Vanzan argues that the requested documents are irrelevant and that if they are relevant, the court should require production of them from Jones or Jones Works before burdening Vanzan. The motion... Yes! The motion to compel documents responsive to request 9 is granted. Why? Well, let's get into it. Federal Rule of Civil Procedures 26 provides that parties may obtain discovery regarding any non-privileged matter that is relevant to any party's claim or defense and proportional to the needs of the case, considering, among other things, the party's relative access to relevant information, the importance of the discovery in resolving the issues, and whether the burden or expense of the proposed discovery outweighs its likely benefit. Rule 26 further provides that information within this scope of discovery need not be admissible in evidence to be discoverable. Once that party has shown relevance, it is up to the responding party to justify curtailing discovery. Abel argues that the documents are relevant because they go to whether Jones and Lively conspired to obtain Abel's stolen information and sued the sham Vanzan lawsuit to provide a veneer of legitimacy for Jones's transfer of stolen information to Lively. That was all in quotes. And whether Jones provided data taken from Abel's stolen phone to Lively before service of the Vanzan subpoena, also in quotes. Vanzan argues that the documents are not relevant because Abel's claims arise from Jones's obtaining Abel's cell phone when she was terminated, which took place weeks before the Vanzan action was initiated. Relevancy under Rule 26 is to be construed broadly to encompass any matter that bears on or that reasonably could lead to other matters that could bear on any issue that is or may be in the case. Under this broad standard, the documents are relevant. As I already told you, Abel claims that Jones disclosed at least some of Abel's private communications to the Lively parties no later than August 21st, 2024, before the Vanzan sham lawsuit, and continued to access Abel's private text messages thereafter, and at some point transferred Abel's stolen communications to Sloan, Lively, and Reynolds in order to harm Abel. Communications between Vanzan and or its counsel and Jones Works and or their counsel concerning the Vanzan lawsuit are likely to bear on or lead to further information regarding whether and when Jones obtained relevant communications and disclosed them to Vanzan or Lively. Abel has demonstrated the relevance of the proposed discovery. So, time to pony up. I love it. Thoughts? Let's discuss in the comments section.